Hey mamas, welcome to our fourth and final phase of the Postpartum Ab Program. This is workout number 1 of 2. Let's get started with our supine marching. So like we've started every other phase, we're gonna begin feet close to hips, pull that belly in, hands up, lifting one leg over the hip, 90 degrees, tapping the toe. So by now you've done this one for several weeks. You know how it should feel. We're keeping that belly button pulled in toward the spine. We're gently pressing that lower back toward the floor, and then that knee is stopping at 90 degrees right over your hip. Really light pressure on those feet. So in this last phase, we're starting with the foundation so we get that core really warm, and then we're gonna build and add a few more intense exercises. So we're really into the sculpting portion of the program. Relax. We're gonna advance to the reverse march. So bringing those knees directly over the hips now, slowly tapping and lifting. Heating up that core a little bit more, gently pressing the lower back toward the floor. So in those first 3 phases, the first several weeks, we've been working on healing and strengthening, and now we're really into the sculpting portion of the program, where we take all those foundational movements and we add some intensity, add some layers to them to challenge your core stability and to really tone and define your core. Rest. We're gonna move on next to that double bent leg lift. So just do a check, make sure that belly is pulled in, and then we're gonna lift both legs up, knees over the hips, gently lower back down. So we're still moving slow, even though it's a more advanced phase. We still wanna maintain that good abdominal control so the pressure stays where we want it to, the lower back staying toward the floor. We're really starting to feel that transverse abdominis engage and heat up, preparing for the work ahead. And we're gonna relax. Next, we're gonna move to those single straight leg drops. So legs come straight up, point those toes. We're gonna drop the front leg almost to the floor, and then lift back up. You can also lightly tap the heel here if you'd like it, but keeping that leg off the floor maintains that pressure. So we're lowering down almost to the floor, maybe an inch or a couple inches above it, and then bring it back up nice and slow. Now here, if you find that this is too intense, you can bend the legs and tap like this, and that's the reverse march. It's basically the same movement, just with straight legs. And I put my hands on my waistline here because I can really feel my hips shift and my core shift, so I want to try to do that to be mindful of my abs. It reminds me what I'm trying to engage here, keeping everything still except that leg moving, and relax. We're gonna move on, and this time we're gonna straighten both legs up and lower them both at the same time to about 45 degrees right here. So we lower nice and slow, and then release. So you pull that belly button in, lower nice and slow, taking care to make sure that lower back is pressing toward the floor, and then you can just relax your abs at the top. So I want you to pull it in tight, 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 45, and then pull back up. If you can't quite go that low, that is totally fine. Just take it as far as you can without that lower back lifting, and try not to squeeze your legs too much, right? We want that pressure in the core. You're gonna feel a little bit in the tops of those legs, and that's fine. But again, abs are the focus here. You can also go back to that exercise we just did, doing one leg at a time instead of both to decrease intensity. All right, we're gonna move on to a single leg bridge hold. So we're gonna lift that front leg over the hip, press through that back heel, lift and hold. Now, we're squeezing that glute, pushing through the heel that's on the floor, keeping this knee directly over the hip, 90 degrees. Now, put your hands on your hip bones. You're gonna feel that front hip start to drop. Try to keep it up. They're gonna be a little bit uneven because this back leg is what's supporting you here, but try to maintain that same hip level. If you feel it start dropping, try to give me a little bit more squeeze of those glutes to keep that hip up. And if you need to, we're holding this for a long time, I understand. If you need to tap, take a quick break, do that, come right back up in about 5 seconds. We're almost there. And release. 50 seconds is a long time. Again, take breaks when you need to. We're going to the other side. So heel close to butt, knee up, and we're lifting. Hold it there. Hands on hip bones, feel where they're at now. You can keep them there or you can remove them. Just taking care to make sure that back hip doesn't start to drop toward the floor. We want to keep that hip up. And we're really using that front glute. You can feel it. You know where it's working. Everybody's got a stronger and a weaker side. It's really important to do unilateral training like this where we're working each side individually. Helps even things out, work on that muscle symmetry. And rest. All right, we're moving on to a side plank crunch. So you can be on your knee, your bottom knee, or you can lift up with me. We're gonna take the knee to the elbow and then release. So that forearm below is at 90 degrees, and then we're just crunching the knee to the elbow, bringing your top rib to your hip, like you're trying to close that gap. And here we're working those obliques. So you're keeping that belly button pulled in, and your option would be to come down on this knee. Take a little bit of that pressure off. We're here for a long time, so you've got time if you want to try both variations. But again, that bottom arm, remember you're keeping that shoulder pulled away from your ear, and then you're keeping that elbow 90 degrees so we stay really supported, and that bottom hip is lifted nice and high. And relax, we're gonna move to the other side. So pick leg straight or bottom leg down. We're crunching in and out. And that top leg is just resting lightly at the top. And take care to make sure you're not pulling on your neck here. Those fingers are just light at your temples. About halfway there. So take a check. Is that hip dropping? Do you need to come down for a few reps? Release a little bit of that pressure. And again, it's not how many you can do. I always say this, but it's not how many you can get done in 50 seconds. It's about the quality of the movement, the quality of your reps. So just take your time, do what you can, and relax. All right, we're moving to our last exercise. This one we're gonna do on our stomach. It's called a prone airplane. Legs straight, arms straight. We're gonna lift the opposite arm and leg. So right arm, left leg lifts. You're looking toward that right hand. Place it down, switch. Arm comes up, leg comes up, they're straight. Now, you notice I'm keeping my chin tucked. I'm just looking to the side, and then I'm lifting my chest, squeezing my butt. That's what I want you to do. So you're getting that contraction in the mid upper back, pulling that shoulder blade back, squeezing the glute, and then releasing. So you're gonna get that work all the way down the back of the body. So you're going as high as you can lift, keeping that belly button nice and secure on the floor. You can start to work your way higher with each repetition, but just go nice and slow. And we've made it another 10-minute postpartum ab workout. So that was workout number 1, or day 1 of phase 4. So make sure to do this phase for at least 3 weeks, along with workout number 2, and you'll have completed the program. If you need to repeat or start at the beginning, if you're a beginner, we've got phases 1 through 3 ready for you as well. Be sure to like, comment, and then check out my other postpartum ab sculpting workouts once you've finished this program to keep progressing on your postpartum core journey.